Hey everybody, welcome. We're live. I'm in my mobile office here, just driving. But yeah, my name's Justin. This channel is Fast Entrepreneur, and today I specifically just wanted to talk to people that might be new to the crypto space. Maybe you've been in it for a few weeks or a few months. Maybe this is your first bull run. Or maybe you really don't know much about it, and you're just hearing about Bitcoin for the first time. In the news or from a friend or a family member, who knows. So, I let's give you a background. I've been aware of Bitcoin for quite a while. Going back, I think even probably 2012, 2013. I never did anything with it. I remember 2014. I was reading an article by Peter Diamandis, I think it was in Forbes or Fortune, one of those magazines, and he's talking about Bitcoin needed that user interface moment, kind of like PayPal. And so I remember getting kind of interested in the space, but I still never did anything. Fast forward to 2017, that's kind of when I jumped all in, and I remember I was contacting a lot of people on the internet trying to figure things out. This was when Bitcoin was still under $1,000. I got involved. I had made 3 Bitcoin in a short period of time, but I really didn't know what I didn't know. I knew enough, obviously, to get myself a wallet and to get myself involved, and to, I had some Bitcoin, but I really didn't know what I didn't know. And, I called around to everybody that I knew, and they didn't know anything really any more than I did. So, I had a pretty good learning experience. I actually cashed out my 3 Bitcoin for a small profit. And then I believe, I think I may have entered back into the market in the months to follow, but only on a really small scale. Basically I saw the market go up all the way to Bitcoin went from like 1,000 to 20,000 almost, and then I saw it crash back down. And I really didn't understand the market cycles. I didn't understand, this thing called Bitcoin halving. And so after that, the market tanked. I kind of was very interested in the space, very intrigued, and at that point I had already kind of really went into look at what are these altcoins and what is this technology called blockchain. Is this really going to be revolutionary as people think it is? Is it really, bigger than the internet, yada, yada, yada. And I mean, I got to say, decentralization, all this, I got convinced. And so I spent the next few years kind of really studying the space, as best I could. And that brings us to today. And so, now it's we are in 2021 as I'm shooting this video, and we are in another bull run cycle. And, if you're new, then you're saying, you might even have questions. Well, what do you mean by market cycles? Or what is a bull run? What does bull run even mean? And to put it quite frank, a bull run cycle is nothing but, when prices normally go up and up and up and up. Doesn't mean they go straight up, but it's a time period, and for Bitcoin, it may last for several months or even over a year in previous cycles, where the prices generally just kept going up. And a bear market is when they just generally tend to go back down. And Bitcoin has been very interesting because it's followed very predictable market cycles. Almost every 4 years, there's an event called the Bitcoin halving. Basically, without getting technical, it's every 4 years, the number of new Bitcoin that get created per block, it gets cut in half. And so this creates, maybe a supply and demand issue, and it basically seems to spark a bull run. And we've seen this, and history keeps repeating itself. So I have no reason to believe yet that that pattern will end. But at some point in the future, I do expect it, but it might be many cycles ahead of us. It, might not be right away. It might be, years or decade. I don't know. But in terms of, so that's where we're at. And, so a lot of people, they're seeing this or seeing it on the news, and they want to get involved, but they really don't know what they're getting involved with, and a lot of people have kind of asked me questions, and it reminds me of where I was in 2017, that I really didn't know what I didn't know. And all I can say is, I'm not a financial advisor. You want to do your own research, but if you don't know what you're doing, I mean, just think about it. If you don't know what you're doing, then, or you really don't have, much of a clue, then, you're really kind of just hoping, right? And you're flying blind, and, maybe you're trusting somebody else or whatever. But, if you do a little bit of research, you're going to find, hey, at least you have some sort of a basis. So what I would do is I would definitely start with understanding these Bitcoin cycles, these market cycles. Just Google it. It'd probably take you, no more than a few minutes, to just get a overview. You can look at, these charts. You can see, just get a basic overview, and you can kind of see this isn't all, straight up. This has been up and down, and then this is kind of what we've been doing. And so if you think that you want to get into this market, it's always best to get in early into a market, right? Because most of the time when you get in early, or what they call it during the accumulation phase, really when nothing's happening, when the prices are just stagnant. In our case, it was probably 6 months ago. Then the downside is maybe a lot less, because if you think you're going into a bull run, you probably think you got a lot of upside. But if you're getting in now, who knows how much longer or how much higher this bull run will go. But there's more risk the later and later that you enter the game, because you have to remember there's people, like me and others that have already entered the game 6 months ago that are already potentially in profit, that at any time could sell. And when people sell in mass, prices go down. And so, just be aware. You don't want to be, what they call FOMOing, fear of missing out. You don't want to be buying in at the tops of markets, because most of those people just get wrecked, and they lose, pretty much a good portion of what they put in. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of different ways to get involved in crypto, and especially this bull run. I mean, now that we have major institutions, like, I believe you can even go on, like, say if you trade stocks, you could probably go to your brokerage account like TD Ameritrade. You can get exposure to crypto, not all of what crypto has to offer, but for beginners, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and maybe a few others, through unit investment trusts, like tickers, like Grayscale's ticker, GBTC, or others. And you can do it right from, your own brokerage account. There's also other, now people can get involved with like PayPal. You don't actually own the crypto, but you still get to ride up the highs and ride down the lows. But you don't have to worry about any of the custody or remembering your passwords or, wallet and all that. So those aren't bad options, really. Everybody's got to pay taxes, just like, if you would if you had a gain or whatnot. But for most people, at least in the US, and this is kind of what I still do a lot of times, a place like Coinbase is probably not a bad option, right? Coinbase is the largest, centralized exchange in crypto, here in the US at least. They just launched on the NASDAQ, so they're a publicly traded company. You don't necessarily own your coins, they have custody, but listen, for most people, it gives you access to most of what you want to do. Now, can you take advantage of everything that cryptocurrency has to offer? Well, no. I mean, Coinbase only offers maybe 20 or 30 of the, larger, I should say, more stable projects, coins. But for most people, it's probably not a bad place to get your feet wet while you're learning. And I stress learning. I mean, everybody, we want to earn while we learn, but it's you want to learn, and you want to learn. It's best to learn on a small amount, because if you lose, you can always get back in the game. But if you are betting the farm and you don't know what you're doing, and you got in at the wrong time, and then you don't realize it until afterwards, that's. So I would say, if you want to get started, start small. I mean, you can get started like on Coinbase for, you could start with, $20. You can probably start with less than that. You get to learn about how it works. You get to learn about the fee structure. You get to learn about, just the ins and outs. And then when you feel more comfortable and you've done more research, maybe you decide that, hey, maybe I do want to do something more. Maybe you decide, hey, maybe I don't want to go too big this time. But anyways, that's it. I hope this helps. And, just take your time and learn.